If your plants always look tired in winter, you're not imagining it. January changes light, temperature, and watering speed in a way most people underestimate. This month doesn't just pause growth, it tests your routine. Get the basics right now, and spring growth feels smoother and much faster. You're about to follow a simple January reset you can repeat weekly. It protects roots, improves light use, and prevents pests before they multiply. You don't need expensive products for this routine. You need consistent checks and calm adjustments instead of random fixes. Think of January as maintenance season, not makeover season. Our goal is stability, so the plant stores energy for spring. One home can have 5 different microclimates in winter: a plant by cold glass, a plant near a heater, and a plant in a dim corner will all behave differently. That's why advice like water once a week fails in January. Your plant's environment decides the pace, so you'll read the soil, not the calendar. Light is weaker, and days are shorter in January. With less light, soil dries slower and roots breathe less, so overwatering becomes easier. Indoor heating can drop humidity and stress leaves over time. Outdoors, cold nights, slow roots, especially in containers where soil cools quickly. If you want one optional tool, use your hands first and a simple thermometer second. Even knowing your room is 16 degrees Celsius versus 23 degrees Celsius explains a lot about drying speed. Here's the plan. 7 steps that are simple and repeatable. Each step removes a hidden winter problem that blocks spring growth. Step 1 is the soil and root check, because roots decide everything. If roots are healthy, leaves recover quickly when conditions improve. Start with the finger test, about 2 inches deep. If it feels cool and wet, do not water. Even if the plant droops, winter droop can come from roots sitting wet too long. More water can turn a mild issue into root rot, so pause and reassess first. Next, lift the pot and feel its weight. A heavy pot usually means moisture is still stored in the root zone, even if the top looks dry. A noticeably lighter pot suggests the soil is drying. Combine the weight test with the finger test, because together they're far more reliable. Now do a quick smell check near the soil surface. Healthy soil smells earthy, while sour or swampy smells suggest trapped moisture and low oxygen. If soil stays wet for days, look for the cause instead of blaming the plant. The cause is usually drainage, light, airflow, or soil density. Confirm the pot has a real drainage hole. If it's a decorative pot, keep the nursery pot inside and dump any collected water after watering. Check that water isn't pooling in a tray or outer cover. Standing water keeps roots soaked and invites fungus, gnats, and algae. Look at the soil texture and how it behaves when wet. If it turns muddy and compact, it holds water and squeezes out air that roots need. In January, avoid major repotting unless it's an emergency. Most plants recover slower in winter, so keep changes gentle and targeted. A simple fix is to loosen the top layer lightly without ripping roots. Then add a thin layer of airy mix to help the surface dry evenly. If you truly suspect rot, act quickly and carefully. Remove the plant, trim mushy roots, and repot into fresh, fast-draining mix. After emergency repotting, water lightly and then wait. The goal is to encourage new roots, not soak stressed roots that are already struggling. If your plant is extremely root-bound, note it for spring rather than forcing a repot now. In stronger light, repotting is safer and the plant bounces back faster. Step 2 is smarter watering, and the rule is simple. Water less often, but water thoroughly when it's actually time. Avoid tiny sibs every few days. That keeps the top wet, feeds gnats, and leaves the root zone uneven and under. When you water, water slowly until a little drains out the bottom. Then let it drain fully and empty any tray after a few minutes. Use room temperature water whenever possible. Very cold water can shock roots, especially if the plant sits near cold windows. If your soil becomes hydrophobic and water runs straight through, soak it once properly. Water slowly in rounds, or bottom water briefly, then drain completely. For succulents and cacti, extend the dry period. Let the soil dry completely and stay dry longer than in summer before watering again. For tropical plants like pothos and monstera, watch for soggy soil. Let the top few inches dry. Then water deeply and drain well. For outdoor pots in cold climates, avoid watering before a freeze. Water only on mild days when the soil isn't frozen and the pot can drain. If a plant droops but soil is wet, don't water. Improve light and airflow first, so roots can breathe and recover. If leaves are yellowing, treat it as a detective job, not a panic moment. Check wet soil, cold drafts, and low light before you change anything else. Step 3 is fixing light, because light is plant energy. Low light causes stretching, leaf drop, and slow-drying soil. Do a midday light audit in your space. Notice where the brightest window light actually lands on leaves, not just where the window is. Move light-loving plants closer to that brightest spot. Even a small move can reduce yellowing by improving drying and energy levels. Rotate plants weekly so growth stays even. Rotation also prevents leaning and keeps stems stronger and more balanced. Wipe dust off leaves with a damp cloth. Dust blocks light and reduces photosynthesis in the exact month plants need it most. Clean the window glass. If it's hazy, winter light is already weak, so every bit of clarity matters. If you have a grow light, use it consistently. A few hours daily can prevent leggy growth and support healthier leaves through winter. Watch for signs of light starvation like smaller new leaves. Also look for long bare stems and a strong lean toward the window. Be careful with cold drafts at night. If the glass gets icy, move the plant a little back after sunset and return it in the morning. Also avoid hot air vents blowing directly on leaves. Dry heat can crisp edges, while soil stays damp underneath, creating mixed stress signals. Step 4 is the January cleanup, which stops spring pest explosions. Winter pests build quietly, then multiply fast when warmth returns. Start by removing dead leaves from the soil surface. Rotting debris holds moisture and becomes a pest hiding spot. Prune leaves that are fully yellow or crispy. This reduces stress and redirects energy toward healthier growth points. Sanitize your scissors. If you're cutting multiple plants, a quick wipe with alcohol between plants reduces the chance of spreading problems. Wipe the leaves, including the undersides. Many pests hide underneath, and wiping is a simple first offense that also removes dust. Inspect the leaf joints and stem nodes closely. Look for sticky residue, cutney clumps, or fine webbing. If you see tiny flying bugs near soil, think fungus gnats. The real fix is letting the top layer dry more between waterings. Use yellow sticky traps if you want to monitor adults, but controlling moisture and improving airflow is what breaks the life cycle. If you see webbing or speckled leaves, suspect spider mites. Increase humidity slightly, wipe leaves often, and isolate if the infestation is heavy. If you find white cottony spots, isolate the plant immediately. Remove pests manually and keep checking weekly until they're gone. Quarantine new plants for at least 1 to 2 weeks. That habit protects your whole collection from surprise infestations. Step 5 is humidity and airflow balance for healthier leaves. Winter heating dries air, and dry air stresses many tropical plants. Instead of constant misting, aim for steady humidity. Group plants together or use a pebble tray below pot levels so roots never sit in water. A humidifier works well if you keep it clean. Moderate humidity reduces brown tips and makes leaves less brittle and less attractive to mites. But humidity without airflow can invite mold. Add gentle air movement, like a small fan across the room, to keep surfaces from staying damp. You want circulation, not wind blasting leaves. Gentle airflow helps soil dry evenly and reduces fungal issues without dehydrating the plant. If you see mold on soil, reduce moisture and increase airflow. You can also replace the top layer with a drier, airy mix for a quick reset. Step 6 is fertilizer. And this is where many people panic. In January, fertilizer won't fix low light or soggy roots, and it can make problems worse. If the plant isn't actively growing, pause feeding. Feeding dormant plants can cause weak growth and root stress, especially in low light. If your plant is growing under strong window light or a grow light, feed lightly. Use a diluted dose and do it less often than you would in summer. Never fertilize a plant sitting in cold, wet soil. Fix light and watering first, Then consider nutrients when you see stable new growth. A safer January boost is improving soil structure. Refresh the top inch if it's compacted. And make sure drainage stays fast and consistent. Step 7 is light grooming and spring planting. Small grooming now prepares the plant to branch and fill out later without heavy stress. For trailing plants, pinch the tips to encourage branching. A little pinching now often means a fuller plant with more growth points in spring. Remove weak, dead, or damaged leaves. That reduces hiding places for pests and keeps the plant's energy focused on healthy tissue. Avoid heavy pruning on sensitive plants in deep winter. Recovery is slower, so keep cuts minimal, clean, and intentional. Also avoid moving plants around every few days. Choose the best spot, then let them adjust for at least 2 weeks before changing again. Now, let's cover the 3 biggest January mistakes quickly. The first is watering, because you feel guilty instead of checking soil dryness. The second mistake is stacking changes all at once. Repotting, pruning, moving, and fertilizing together overwhelms a plant in low light. The third mistake is ignoring drafts and vents. Cold glass at night and hot air in daytime create constant stress that looks mysterious on leaves. Let's apply the same rules to a few common plant types. Snake plants and ZZ plants want very little water in January, so dryness comes first. Pothos and philodendrons want brighter light and moderate watering. Let the topsoil dry, then water deeply and drain well to avoid soggy roots. Succulents want complete dryness and maximum sun. Too much water in winter is the fastest path to rot, even if the plant looks thirsty. Indoor herbs want the brightest spot you have. Trim lightly to prevent stretching and water when the pot feels light rather than by a timer. Orchids and other specialty plants follow the same principle. Airflow and drying matter. If their medium stays wet, reduce watering and increase light gently. For balcony plants, wind and cold nights matter a lot. Shelter pots from strong wind and raise them off cold floors, so roots don't stay chilled. For outdoor garden beds, January is often cleanup and protection. Remove diseased debris, add mulch where appropriate, and protect tender plants from frost. If you're in a mild climate, January can still be active gardening season. Use it to prune the right plants for your region and start planting seeds and soil. Now let's turn this into a simple weekly routine. Once a week, check soil dryness with finger depth and pot weight together. Once a week, wipe leaves and inspect under. This catches pests early when they are easiest to control without aggressive treatments. Once a week, rotate pots for even light. Small habits add up and prevent the slow winter decline many people see by February. When you water, drain fully and empty trays. That one habit prevents a huge percentage of winter root problems and fungus gnat outbreaks. Keep light as strong as your space allows. Better light makes watering safer and reduces the urge to overcorrect with fertilizer. Keep humidity comfortable and airflow gentle. That combination prevents crispy tips, reduces mold risk, and makes plants more resilient. Keep fertilizer minimal until you see consistent new growth. In most homes, that restart is safer in late winter or early spring. If you're unsure whether a plant needs water, look at drying speed, week to week. A pot that takes twice as long to dry in January needs a big reduction in watering frequency. Plan your spring repotting now by checking roots at the drainage holes. If roots are circling heavily or the plant dries extremely fast in warm weeks, schedule a repot when light and temperatures rise. If you follow these steps through January, you'll notice steadier leaves and stronger stems. You may not see fast growth yet, but you'll build stability. Stability creates spring momentum. When light increases, the plant can respond immediately with new leaves and stronger stems. Here's your January checklist to remember easily. Check soil, water smart, boost light, clean leaves, balance, humidity, and pause heavy feeding. Do this routine for the next few weeks. Your plants will enter spring healthier, stronger, and ready to explode with growth. If you want extra consistency, keep a simple note on your phone. Track watering dates, light placement, and quick symptoms so patterns become obvious. When you stop guessing and start checking, plants become predictable. January becomes easy, and spring becomes your reward. If this routine helps, save it and use it every January. And when spring arrives, you'll see the payoff in healthier, faster growth.